Assalamu alaikum and a very good morning to you all. I hope you guys are doing very well today and you're ready to start your day with Shazad Khan and myself only on World This Morning, PTV World. Assalamu alaikum Shazad, how are you? Happy
Walaikum
Friday.
assalam, and I'm absolutely not very perfect, but at the same time, I think I've got a few things to convey as well. But other than that, how's your Friday coming along so far?
It's been a very, very busy week. So actually, I love coming to the show. It gets me up in the morning. It kickstarts my day. However, I am looking forward to having a couple of days rest.
Yes, exactly, and that's why we've actually dedicated the last 5 minutes of the show for something very special for you. We
Yes.
will talk about it definitely, but other than that, ladies and gentlemen, Friday is one of those days where we are actually looking forward throughout the week that, okay, once it's Friday, we can take, a sigh of relief as well. But other than that, we've got very important things to share with you guys. Because today we are going to be talking about education within Pakistan, within different provinces, what the figure says, and what are different organizations doing to help people to get into schools and study and get some skills and earn money.
Exactly, and it's not just focusing on the private sector, it's actually focusing on the public and government sector as well. But before we get that started, let's look at the top stories and then we will get kick-started with our show.
Let's do it. Good morning. A 35-person multidisciplinary team of paleontologists, geologists, archaeologists, scientists, and members of the Explorers Club Hong Kong chapter says it has made major findings in the Gobi Desert. Wow. Well, what are those findings, though?
Yeah. What do I think of teasers?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
And second Pakistan Film Festival will be held on 7th and 8th of July in New York. The Pakistan Film Festival, organized by Pakistan's mission to the UN, will be featuring top stars from the country's film industry.
Wow, it's just great to hear this news early in the morning. Brilliant. Moving on, where robots about to take over the worldwide famous culinary art of pizzas. This is what French startup Akim believes with its brand new concept of Pizzaiolo robot. What a different name for that. Pizzaiolo. Wow.
And finally, rain and thunder shower with gusty winds is expected in isolated places in Zorb, Kalat, and lots of other places within Pakistan. And Shazad is going to read all the different
Bahawalpur,
areas.
Faisalabad, Sahiwal, Gujranwala, Islamabad, Fatah, Kashmir, and Gilgit-Baltistan. So please make sure that you keep an umbrella with you.
Exactly.
Until unless if you are not riding a bike. Wear a wetsuit then.
And this is why I really enjoy hosting the show with you, because, it really is about teamwork and kind of supporting each other as well. Because I know, it's about whenever you're living in a country, you need to learn how to be able to pronounce the names properly, right?
Exactly.
And I could say those names, but I just didn't want to take the risk, especially when, new things
Exactly.
are
And this is how it is with
happening.
me, ladies and gentlemen, and she's always there to tell me, for example, paleontologist as well, but I said it right too as well. But we help each other. It is about teamwork, and
Yes.
such kind of teams actually are here within Pakistan to do something bigger and better for all of those people who are out there within the country.
Exactly. And as Shazad has already mentioned, that it is about making sure that the whole country is moving forward together. And you can only do that with education.
Exactly, and whenever we talk about education, for the figures which have been brief, in Punjab, the literacy level is above than 70%, in Islamabad, it's more than 70% as well, but in Fatah, it's 17%, and it's alarming. And in the previous year, the literacy rate has actually gone down 2% as well. What are the problems? What are the causes? What are the challenges? We'll definitely talk about that. But then there are some noble people who came up with an idea of Movin Foundation, which is a public-private partnership. We're going to share a small clip with you guys. Go ahead, take a look. And once you guys are going to come back, we'll be talking with these noble guys. Let's do it.
Marvin Foundation has joined hands with the government to address the need for quality education and skilled workers in Pakistan. The aim is to work hand in hand with the government to provide support to government schools and technical and vocational centers. Wtm Foundation believes that supporting the government institutions is the best use of resources and is therefore contributing to improvement of education system in Pakistan by using the existing government infrastructure. Wtm Foundation will be able to reach maximum number of children and youth. ensuring efficient utilization of resources and a sustainable mechanism for better education in Pakistan. Education is the primary concern of Wtm Foundation since it opens opportunity for a successful life. Using the existing government education and technical training facilities, Wtm Foundation enhances the teacher's skill and the ability to impart knowledge to students. To achieve its goals, Wtm Foundation follows the strategy to work in government schools that need support of Wtm Foundation to improve infrastructure and standard of education, and provide technical training in schools and vocational centers to students who opt for employment after completing middle or high school.
So that was a little introduction into what we're going to be discussing today. But before we get started, let's go for a short break. And when you come back, Shahzad will reveal our guests.
Just a small commercial break. Good morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. For everybody who just got tuned into PT while you watching World this morning alongside Maha Makhdoom and Shahzad Khan. And today, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be in conversation with these noble people who came up with a noble cause to educate the country. And they're not even looking into one province. They're looking at a bigger picture, and they want the literacy rate of Pakistan to go up and to eradicate the segments within the society.
Absolutely.
So we have been joined by, the person behind the concept, his brainchild is none other than Admiral Asif Sandela, retired former Chief of Naval Staff, Chairman, Wtm Foundation. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Wa alaikum assalam. Thank you for calling us.
Thank you
for
very
being
much
here.
for joining us. Alongside Mr. Asif Sandela Sahab, we have been joined by Mr. Hamid Ali Khan Sahab, who is former Federal Secretary, Director, Wtm Foundation. Hello, Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Thank you very much, sir. Very kind for inviting us.
Thank you very much for joining us. I love the energy early in the morning.
Yes,
Last
great.
but not the least, we have been joined by somebody who is the MD KP Elementary and Secondary Education Foundation, Director, Wtm Foundation, Mr. Zulfikar Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum assalam. Sir, kaise hain aap? Theek hai?
Thank you very much Ji, for having me.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much for
much.
joining us. So let's get the conversation
Yes.
started. What a lucrative career you've had, mashallah. And, being in such a place where, you're leading the forces as well, taking difficult decisions all the time, and then coming up with the concept of educating the country. Why? Why do you think there was a need for you to do that?
I think to make a nation or to improve, you have to make people human beings first.
Yeah.
And that comes through education. There's a lot of work going on in this field in our country, but unfortunately we found the impact was not very high. And we looked at this, and in our view, the place to correct is primary, elementary and secondary school education.
All right.
And with this, to make people skillful so that they are able to earn their livelihood in their life.
So then, was this a kind of concept which was in your head all this time when you were even serving, or once you were retired, you thought that, okay, I need to do something for my country or give back to the society?
Well, I think there are triggers in life, and a person like me, having served all my time in the Pakistan Navy, and I read a book while I was chief. The name is 3 Cups of Tea. It is a story of an American who comes to scale K2, unfortunately falls sick, can't scale, and he is taken to a village in Baltistan, and there he is looked after. And when he goes, when he is about to leave, he says, what can I do for you? And they say, make a school for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this gentleman came early 90s, and when this book came, by that time he had 200 projects in Pakistan, northern areas, Afghanistan, and it just struck me, if an American can come and do this in Pakistan, why can't Pakistanis do?
Very
So
nice.
that is how this all triggered.
Wonderful.
Makes me feel so
Okay,
good.
so I'd just like to move on to Mr. Hamid. Sir, we've just had a little highlight and an introduction into some of the aims and objectives, but how did you figure out how exactly you're going to approach these issues that you had realized regarding literacy?
The main issue was, as pointed out by Admiral,
Yeah.
basically Pakistan in this region is badly lacking in many areas, in socio-economic development, in the climate, the environment. So from our perspective, the main reason it was that we have very low literacy rate. Countries around us like Sri Lanka is 93%, Maldives is 96%, even Nepal is about 89%, India is about 70%. So they are relatively going in upward trajectory. So we are lacking. And the second part was that, as already pointed out by you, that our literacy rate has a very diversity. There are a lot of gaps.
Yes.
Like gender is one issue, it had a gap.
Exactly.
So Admiral had this idea that we should be able, or we should launch a program, an initiative, where we could go to promote literacy, vocational training, so that it is actually sustainable project and it could boost your socio-economic development. So we had 4 pillars in mind for
Very
the
nice.
development.
We'll definitely talk about those pillars as well. We just want to keep the pace a bit slower. Now, first things first, let's just highlight all of those issues which we have within our own country related to education. For example, when I went to Kalash, there was 90% literacy rate in Kalash, even in Islamabad, even in Punjab. So all of these different areas are doing better. Why aren't we doing better in a unified position? Why aren't we all together on this platform? And why do you think that the literacy rate, rather going up, is coming down? What are the issues?
The main issues and challenges are we have not been able to create enabling environment in our institutions. That is number one. Second, we have not been able to link up the various stakeholders, the policy makers, the district administration, the school teachers, and the community itself. So there are no linkages. And third, very importantly, initially we had the resource problem also. The GDP allocation was even less, 1.2%. Now Punjab has increased, but other provinces are lacking behind. So there are missing facilities. If the number of students are large, there are no rooms for that. You have no electricity, you have no clean drinking water, your staff is inadequate. So these are the challenges that there are. And another important factor was that your curriculum is again a problem, and poverty is an issue in these areas. But from my point of view, now things have improved.
Yeah.
But you need to improve the governance and to create enabling environment to motivate the people, to engage with the community, and to activate the parents to bring them.
Okay,
Exactly.
And
wonderful.
third main important, lastly, very importantly, major issue was the gender. The girls was the major issue. As per our analysis, when we start the project, we carried out the analysis as to why girls are not coming. The enrollment rate is high, but dropout rate is equally very high. So why girls are not coming? The schools are located at a distance. There were no toilets.
Exactly.
There were cultural barriers and mindsets in the rural villages. So parents would not like to send their daughters with no toilets in the schools, where they have to travel a long distance, cover every day. So these were some of the impediments which we try to address in our pilot or modest project.
Wonderful. That's all very inclusive. And so, Shazad,
Yeah, so Mrs. Zulfikar, now coming on to you, first of all, how did you get to know about Movin Foundation, and then how did you become a part of this foundation as well? And then lastly, so when we talk about education within Pakistan, and sir very rightly mentioned about the curriculum, you went through the same curriculum, I went through the same curriculum, and today we are the flag bearers of equality as well. So what's wrong with our curriculum?
Well, first of all, let me tell you how I joined this. Admiral Asif Sandila and Hamid Ali Khan Sahab, we are all from the same college, Cadet College, Kohart. They are my seniors. And once Admin Sahab decided to launch this program, he got in touch with me, as I have experience in the education field. And I was more than happy to join him in this noble cause. That is one, but the curriculum thing which you are talking about is basically our curriculum. There is nothing wrong in any other sense, but it is not addressing the requirements of the present age. Now, the important thing is that it should be addressing the issues which are prevailing in the at the international level in Pakistan.
All right.
But that is something which is lacking in the curriculum.
Okay. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so now, you know.
May I add one point on
Yes,
curriculum?
please.
You see, again, there's a missing link.
Okay.
The curriculum is a different team altogether sitting at the federal and provincial level, at the bureaucratic level. And they have no connection, they don't get any input from the school teachers.
Right.
So this is a missing link. Once you develop a curriculum, you must have some kind of input from the people who are affiliated with education, who are interacting with the students. They know the ground realities.
So I'm sorry to be a bit bold over here, but you know, you've been Secretary Education yourself as well. What were the major changes you made when it was your turn?
Yes, this is what I was telling you.
Yeah.
When I was there, the first thing I did was to activate SMCs, School Management Committees.
All right.
School Management Committee is a link, is a bridge between the students, teachers and the community.
Okay.
This was one. Second, we launched an awareness program, advocacy.
All right.
So we had very close interaction with the community. It was a very small, modest project. And thirdly, the policy makers, they were also in touch and partnership with
So it was all
with the team.
inclusive.
So
Okay.
it was basically an integrated approach, integrated model, which we are adopting here in Marvin Foundation. This is
Okay,
what exactly
wonderful.
we are doing.
Okay, then that's great. And you know, this is the thing. It is a collective effort. You know, it's not just the responsibility of just the government or just the private sector or just the civic community. But I want to move on to Sir. Now, you know, as Mr. Hamid's already rightly pointed out, that you have 4 pillars within the organization, and it is about bridging these gaps that we have just highlighted. If you could highlight some of these pillars, that would be wonderful.
When we started, we thought if you fall sick, you go to the doctor. He or she checks your pulse, checks your blood pressure, and then gives you a prescription. We came up to find out what is wrong. And since we are going to work in the government schools, in our view, the basic problem is the teachers.
Okay.
And when I say teachers, now I am talking of the government schools in whole of Pakistan. The number one problem is there may not be teachers available in all schools. And if there are, they don't come. And if they come, they don't teach. And if they teach, they don't teach well.
Right.
So this is in our view, and of course there are many other problems, but this is one fundamental problem in the government schools. So we came up with an idea how to overcome this. So we sign an agreement with the government. First thing we do is we must have enough teachers available. The government provides us, and if they are less, then we hire them.
Okay,
Number 2, we must train them to be able to go and teach the kids. And number 3, we should be able to supervise them. That when they come, they teach and they teach well. So this is our basic model
Amazing.
in the education.
Wonderful. And systems that are, you know, very much
Yeah,
needed as
and
well.
this is why, you know, I just wanted to ask that, you know, this is one of its kind model as well. It's a public-private partnership. It's a non-profit organization. So how does it actually work? And how do you hire teachers? You know, what kind of supporters do you have, family and friends? So what happens? Do you want to answer
Yes.
that? Okay, go ahead.
Well, like Admin Saab mentioned, when we started this work, we were thinking of how to go about it.
Okay.
We wanted to work for education, but the important thing for us was how to reach maximum people. Now, the maximum outreach is that of the government. So that is something which we decided that we are going to work in the government schools, because the standards of government education, government schools is deteriorating with the passage of time. So when we started, like Admin Saab mentioned, we identified the gaps, and those gaps were, then we started filling those gaps. Like for example, we trained the teachers, we provided classrooms, we provided missing facilities like toilets and such things. Then we provided solar system, a proper playground.
Amazing.
I mean, it's now a proper model school, and this is what we are replicating in the whole of Union Council.
Amazing. So I think, you know, my kids to be will definitely be going to such schools as well, if
And
that's
that-
the model we are seeing.
And I think that's where we
Very
need
briefly,
to go.
may I also elaborate on
Yes,
that?
please.
Why did we go into partnership with the government?
Yeah.
We had 2 options. One, we go like any other NGO, we go for our own private system or hire the land. That was not feasible. One, because bulk of our educations, our Marvin Foundation's main focus was to address or to reach out rural poor, marginalized, disadvantaged, and focus on gender in the rural areas.
Yeah.
So basically, your government schools, there are 53,000 schools, government schools in Punjab, and 40,000 are private schools. So here is a gap, and these 40,000 schools are mostly in urban centers and towns. Very, very few private schools are there in the rural areas. So that was basically our decision was we should be able to improve upon the system of the investment or the
existing system.
The existing system. One, it involves less investment. Secondly, you don't have to go for the very cumbersome and lengthy procedures of hiring land, then getting the registration. We already had the facilities. What all required was to further improve upon it. So we went into that system. So basically, it is a model to reinforce, to reintegrate, to supplement government effort, number one. Secondly, for us, the government may come and go. The government may change. We are in formal agreement with the government through MOU, with the government of Punjab secretary level and with the district administration, with the deputy commissioner.
Wow.
So in that MOU, everything are spelled out. All the parameters are spelled out. What we are supposed to do, what you will do. So we go for missing facilities. We go for hiring of the teachers. We go for the teachers training. We provide clean drinking water facilities. We provide solar. You see computers and also. So this is the model.
That's incredible. And but one thing, this is what we were also discussing, and we've asked this with everyone that comes here because we've had multiple organizations or non-profit people and individuals who are working on these issues as well. So, and at the end of it, like you said in the beginning, sir, it's about the impact. Why is this separate from everyone else who's working in the education sector? Because there's so much investment in it.
Our assessment is some of the organizations working in Pakistan are doing a wonderful work. Right. There is no doubt about that. You go and look at their schools, and unfortunately, the problem is because, as Hamid indicated, if we all, 5 of us start working, maybe 5 schools, 500, 200, 1,000.
Exactly.
But the government exists everywhere in Pakistan.
Yes.
And you don't need land, you don't need the building is there, the teachers are employed. So our model is not really creating infrastructures, but operationalizing the existing infrastructure. And I'm very happy to report here, we started from my village. In the elementary school, there were only 140 girls. Within 6 months, it rose to 332.
Wow. Amazing.
Boys, 180, and it came to about 370 in 6 months. Results which were 0 to about 45–50% came to about 80 to 100%. The children started coming, the private schools started to close down, or the children started to come to us. That indicated to us that this model is workable.
Absolutely.
So now, from my village, we have gone to the entire Union Council, and inshallah very soon, we are going to expand to 5 other districts.
And that is definitely just great, but we definitely have to move on towards our commercial break as well. But before going, there's one more thing which I would love to ask when we come back, and that is that how many times do we actually ensure merit within these schools as well, that for somebody who's a performer, for somebody who does not perform very well in the grades, do we have a merit list or do we not? This is something which we're going to ask after a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. We're talking about education. Be educated. Be a better Pakistani. Good morning.
Welcome back, everyone. And before the break, we were talking about organizations, and one in particular, the Mervyn Foundation, working on the government sector and improving the education system and also the vocational training, which is imperative if we are all going to progress and move forward together.
Exactly, and I like the idea, ladies and gentlemen, because of the fact that, quite a lot of times, for example, if, the screen on my cell phone is not working, I would rather prefer buying a new one. But if we can manage with the same one and we can get better results, why not to do that and save a bit of money and the land and then the building and the infrastructure and quite a lot of other things as well. So it's just missing, filling in the missing gaps as well. But right now I want to move on to Zulfikar Sahab over here. So Zulfikar Sahab, my question was, do we ensure merit within these schools when, we've got better options and facilities? So do we give chance to all of those kids first who are better performers in education academically or extracurricular activities? Are we focusing on both? Are we not? What's happening?
We are trying to focus on both, but the important thing is that education is provided at the same level, uniform to everybody.
Okay.
Yes.
Opportunities have to be provided to everyone. Now, having said that, there is a monitoring system being implemented in all provinces, including Punjab. A monitoring report goes out every month, and there is an assessment system as well. In our school, which is the Mervyn Foundation, where we are working, the results have really improved. In the last 2 years, we have seen that there is an improvement of about 20 to 25%. And as mentioned earlier, more children are coming to school. The reason for that is that when people find that there is better education in the school, they send their children to these schools. You must have observed that a lot of people are now sending their children to the private schools, and the reason used to be that the standard of education in the government schools were not good, and we have seen that we have been able to attract more children into our schools after improving the standards.
So that's great, but this definitely does not answer my question. Now, for example, if we have a capacity of 500 students within one school, so are we looking forward to teaching those 500 students in the first place who've scored greater in their probably, elementary school, or then probably, if they're joining the secondary one as well? So do we look into these matters as well, or do we just give the same opportunity to everyone and then we see that whatever happens with the results?
So are you
Whoever
selecting
wants to answer.
students?
I'll answer
Sure.
this. No, we do not differentiate between any student. We do not differentiate between anybody coming. These are government schools. We want to teach more and more children.
This makes me happy.
We have no induction criteria as such.
All right.
Great.
The government schools are all over Pakistan in a way that we teach everybody. But I must say one thing, that we are working in the government schools, and I must appreciate the government of the time which permits us to facilitate whatever we want to do in their schools. So our children, mashallah, now they are doing much better than what they were doing before, but we do not. Of course, the children who get better grades, they of course are facilitated in a way that they are given prizes, they are given some kind of shields, or they are introduced to the visiting guests. Otherwise, there is no difference.
Wonderful. And
If I
that's
may be allowed to
Yes,
supplement this
please.
issue, under Article 25A of the Constitution,
Yes.
it is obligation,
Fundamental.
the fundamental, that education is compulsory for all children aged between 5 to 16. So we have that vision in mind, number one. Second, our basic objective is, because our enrollment, our dropout rate is very, very high. It is 60% in Punjab. And our enrollment has reduced to 1% only, roughly like. And the number of students have increased manifold. This is what we are addressing. So at the moment, in his union council or tehsil, what we are focusing is to attract maximum people to come to the school.
Wonderful.
But we do differentiate in teachers. Like I just give you one example. There was one lady teacher. She was promoted on merit by the government of Punjab, and there was no vacancy of her grade in our school. She was supposed to go out, and she approached Admiral that she's not willing to go out. We said, you have been promoted, you have financial incentives, you will go in a better position. She said, no, I know the government schools. Here is a school which is actually providing me the opportunities, the environment. So this is there, sir. The English medium schools in our area, they have closed down. But we have some kind of differentiation for the teachers.
Wonderful.
Our aim for the teachers is, our objective for the teachers is, what we believe, a mediocre teacher only tells the students.
Yes.
A good teacher may explain, but a superior teacher will inspire the student.
Exactly.
So we go for inspiration. Admiral, at his own initiative, has started teachers training through Babar Ali, the LUMS. He charges 2 lakh rupees per teacher. And he's so much impressed with our innovation, he's not charging anything from us.
That's
But we
wonderful.
pay him some money, just there's no free lunch.
Yes.
And we have trained so many teachers now.
Yeah.
And this is an inspiration, motivation factor. And there were girls who were not willing to come. The parents were not allowed to, they were not sending them. Now those girls are coming because they are very eager and they're very keen. Another very important point for motivation is that we don't go only for that conventional curriculum. What's happening in this society? What is the problem in this society? The issue in this society is we have 3 different curriculum. One is the madrasas, the other is Beacon House, and third is the government schools.
Amazing.
And these are 3 different curriculums with different banner. But when these three category of students, they end up in practical life.
Exactly.
They have different outlooks, they have different mental attitudes, their mindsets are different. So what is resultantly the society is getting? Society is getting polarization. We are getting extremist tendencies. So we are lacking that tolerant future. What Admiral has done is, in partnership with other NGOs like Sabak and others and CARE, we are arranging seminars and workshops for mothers. Like very recently, we arranged a seminar for mothers, and we discussed with them the demerits of early marriages.
Okay.
This is what we talk.
Wow.
Amazing.
We teach the students about the environment, plantation. We tell them the interfaith harmony, the values of society, the tolerance, personal hygiene, the uniforms. So this is art. This is I
And
think,
this is
something-
just amazing to hear
This
you all
is
of this
really
as well.
great
It's like an audio treat as well. And you know, if we get a chance to visit one of your schools and do a show over
And
there,
lastly, very importantly, we would not
That'd
like
be
to
great.
discuss.
Yeah.
We would like to invite you to visit the
inshallah we
We
will.
will-
Seeing is believing. Seeing is
Absolutely,
believing.
no,
Yeah.
that sounds great. And you know, we actually are running short of time, so we want to make sure that we highlight everything. But just before we start taking our last comments from our guests, I'd just like to ask Mr. Ahmed, you know, you've been part of the government and you've held very high positions. Now, as Sir has already mentioned, that it's about the willingness of the new, whatever government is in power. How do we get it to the point where there are certain policies and certain systems that are being implemented that are now, they should be taken out of politics, that no matter what party comes into power, that these systems that are trying to improve people's lives, they are not kind of messed with or kind of sidelined, so that you can continue.
Just like
to
that
have-
memorandum of understanding you told us about earlier as well.
I think I must clarify one point. After 18th Amendment, the provincial governments, they are now empowered to outsource these things.
Yeah.
Okay.
The basic primary function of the government is not to run the schools,
Yes.
to provide enabling environment
Yep.
to support. So under this model, Government of Punjab and KP also, they have taken the lead. They are outsourcing the schools through NGOs and through foundations. This is
Great.
one. So once you outsource this, then you give us, you define certain targets also.
Yeah.
So for implementation of the targets, you have to remain in coordination with the policymakers. And you tell them, this is how I feel, this is my assessment. Because the government, in the government structure, a bureaucrat may not be able to convey it vertically upward. What is the problems?
Okay.
But from our point of view, we are independent. We basically, we are aiming, we are focusing for the quality education. So we do give our input, and they are very thing. But we do not go in conflict with the government. Like I give you another example. In our system, we have a system of incentive and rewards. We have a system of accountability and supervision. We have one manager in that area, and we have one coordinator, which he is paying from his funds. So what they do is, they generate monthly and weekly reports. We go for their, punctuality and their performance and everything. And then we report to the Government of Punjab.
Exactly.
And in our MOU, it has been spelled out that we will not interfere with your domain, with your mandate. But whatever we recommend, it has to be implemented. And one of the recommendations is that you will not transfer our teacher before 3 years.
Okay.
Like
Wonderful.
in Punjab, it's not
Yeah,
happening.
because if you're working
So
on them,
our teachers, they do not transfer. Second, when we recommend that certain teacher A and B is not coming to school or his performance is very poor, he has to be transferred, posted out. And it is being done. It is being done.
Wonderful.
that is amazing. But very quickly before we wrap up, what will be the future, thought processes of the Moven Foundation? And if somebody wants to be a part of Moven Foundation, how can he or she do that?
Well, number one, Hamid said earlier, we started from my village, but our dream is Pakistan.
Right.
This is number
Wonderful.
one. Number two is we encourage anybody and everybody to come. It is not only that the people pay the money, but it is your visit to our school will be another
Exactly.
appreciation for the children and the school and the students. But I would like to appreciate our supporters here. And I've said already, Government of Punjab, Punjab Vocational Training Council, Consulate General of China in Lahore, they have given us classrooms, computer labs, furniture worth about 2 crore rupees.
Wow.
The High Commission of Australia in Islamabad, they have given us something like 7 million rupees. All solar systems have been provided by them. Ali Institute of Education teaches our, trains our teachers. Punjab IT Board trains. Bahria Institute of Teachers Training does. Then Sabak Foundation helps us to improve our training systems. And Ahuwat, Bank Al Habib, Nestle Pakistan, and many individuals,
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
many other individuals.
But we don't accept money. We don't get
And
it.
we
identify the projects.
One thing, we haven't talked about the vocational training. I will just wrap up quickly.
Yeah.
So far in our village, we have trained 1,090 boys and girls, dressmaking, beautician, electrician, motorcycle mechanic,
Wow.
and about 80% of them either have a job today or they run their own business.
Amazing.
Last concluded remarks, for every long journey of 1,000 kilometers, you have to take the first step.
Amazing,
We have
amazing.
taken a modest first step, and we are now looking for upscaling and expansion.
And all our
Amazing.
prayers are with you, and
you
know
so
for your
much.
future endeavors. Best of luck as well, and please keep on coming back as well, because
Yes.
we'll love to highlight all of those achievements which you have made in such short time as well.
Exactly.
Thank you very much
Thank
for
you
being
so
with
much
us.
for being
Thank
here.
you.
It's been a
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you, ma'am.
And,
Thank you
and
very
now,
much.
ladies and gentlemen, a very important thing to share, and that is that, me and Maha Makhdoom, we started this journey of Well this morning 5 years ago, back in 2013.
Yes, August.
Yes, and it was a very wonderful and an amazing journey, and it was superb to have a colleague like this, because even on private channels I've seen that when there are two hosts, they're always fighting for who speaks more and who speaks less.
We have
and,
that, but behind the scenes.
yeah, but we were kind of a team
Yeah.
who were really on point. We were very transparent. We were very authentic to each other, and we were very real.
Yeah,
What
but
do you
when-
have to say about your 5 years?
No, that's the thing. So basically, I will be going away for the next 2 to 3 months. Because life has.
I'm gonna
is
miss
up and
you,
down.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's been an amazing 5 years. It's been a culturally very enriching experience, and I'm going to miss it. Obviously, waking up every morning and having this kind of positive energy, especially when I'm feeling so angry and agitated. But it is about getting the narrative out there. It is about making sure that you guys are balanced as well, because you need to do justice to yourselves before anyone else is going to do justice to you. You can't rely on the outside world to give us positive publicity unless we see the positivity within ourselves. as well.
Exactly, and it is very
So-
beautifully said as well, because ladies and gentlemen, everybody's got a different dish on the plate as well. For example, if I talk about myself, I'm a bit more chirpy, outgoing, adventurous, and if it comes down to Ma, she's very serious, she wants things to be very straight, and out in the front, so we could actually see it. So there's always a different flavor brought in by people from different walks of life. So I'm very glad, that. Well, I seriously didn't want you to go away for 2-3 months. That's too long.
That is,
But
but-
we'll be waiting over here.
Thank you so
We have
much.
the entire team. All those people out there, those fan messages, those fan calls. We're going to miss you, but make sure that you come back soon. Then.
I will try my best to, and I just want to thank everyone who's been really supportive, and even the people that haven't been, but that's been a
Thank you,
learning
yeah,
growth.
thank you,
No,
yeah.
you guys have been great as well, and so I got to do what I wanted to since I was young, was show my English friends that Pakistan is a great country and it's got wonderful people, and we've had some wonderful guests, and it's what a brilliant way to what a brilliant show to end that start that journey and the new break on
So,
that.
so do you have any message for your fans out there, for people who follow us?
Yes.
What do you want to say to them?
Keep watching this show and keep supporting PTV World. It is important that we have this English channel out there so that we connect with the rest of the world and bridge those gaps. And secondly, do keep supporting me too, because I will still be on my online digital world. as
Exactly,
well.
we'll definitely be doing that, and we'll in fact have her on the show as a guest too as well within these 2-3 months as
I'll
well.
call you guys from England.
Till the time she comes back as well. We'll definitely call you. you. But thank you very much, Maha. It has been an amazing journey so far, and looking forward to many more.
Yeah.
So people, do not forget to write to us on our Facebook fan page, which is with the name of
Well, this morning.
on Twitter,
Well, this morning without a G.
on Daily Motion and YouTube,
Well, this morning.
and this fabulous repeat is going to be at
11:05 p.m. And don't forget that unless you stand up for your rights, no one else is going to.
exactly. So till the next time, look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3.
Good
Good morning.
morning.